All right, I want to welcome This is going to be a fun panel. I need to say one word, and we already got cheers. First off, just want to welcome everyone to this very special panel of Halo Universe, celebrating the excellent actors that we've had appear in the Halo games. And we're going to start things off a little differently. I'm going to hand it off, actually, and introduce, first of all, Mr. Marty O'Donnell, audio director and composer at Bungie.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Marty's going to handle some of the introductions from here on out.
Okay. This is a little bit of a surprise for just about everybody up here. One thing I want to just say to everybody in the audience, this is Jen Taylor Cortana. And Steve Downs is next to her, and he's Master Chief. Now, here's the amazing thing. Not only is this the first time they've ever sat together on a panel, this is the first time they've ever been in the same room or even met. So this is a historic moment. I'm so happy. I want to do my romantic love theme that I wrote for Halo 1. Okay, now before I introduce anybody else, I thought what I would do is just give you guys a little bit of a history lesson about how I do voiceover with these great Chicago actors who have done voiceover in radio and TV for years. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of a history. We're going to go back really far. And the lame Seattle actor here, this one Seattle actor. Thanks. Who I didn't know was going to be here today, so I didn't bring any of her outtakes, but you can hear some of her outtakes online, and she's very funny. We might have her sing Daisy.
Shut up.
Jay's in the audience. Jay, could you cut that together for us? We'll stick it online later.
I hate you.
Yeah, she was supposed to sing Daisy at the end of Halo 3.
Let's talk about the Chicago actor.
Chicago, okay. So I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. I have some stuff. When I first I've worked with these guys in Chicago for many years on commercials, and when I started doing games, they were an obvious choice to have come in and audition. I'm going to go all the way back to a game called Septerracore. And how many people in this room have played Septerracore? Okay, 2, 3, 4, that's good, 5, excellent. All right, this is going to be a treat for everybody. So this is Tim DiDavo, and what you're going to hear, this is a short clip of Tim DiDavo doing several different voices for Septerracore, and you'll hear me voice slate. So this is a very short clip of several voices Tim did. Here we go. I don't think you're on.
Need the audio up there.
Okay, that was great. Hey, how about that?
No kidding.
I did it really quietly.
Well, this should work.
Technology.
I'm hearing it. It's all plugged in and it's all the way up. We were doing it before.
I don't think his thing is plugged in.
Wow.
How many times have you said that in the game?
This is Tim DiDavo
Okay, here we go. We got it now.
doing Emperor Aspartame.
It's proof of your bloodline. One day you will use it. The only other voice I was thinking of was something more along the lines of this.
That was my God voice.
Use it to part the waters, my son.
This is actually the very first scene in the game.
Okay.
So he's really young here?
Tim DiDavo doing Shopkeeper number 1.
Shopkeeper number 1.
Hi there, would you care to buy anything?
Okay, this next one, you're the girl's sort of coming on to you.
Sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree, honey. Oh, I'm sorry.
I can make a deal for a cutie like you.
Okay, this is Tim DiDavo as bar patron number 3.
Beware the night. Evil walks the darkness. You haven't been in the graveyard, have you?
I'm getting drunker as I go, just so you know.
Stay in at night, friend. It's not safe to walk the streets at night. The undead'll get you.
This is Tim Dadabo doing the mayor.
All right, search the place. They're hiding in here somewhere. Enough! We're not here to eat lunch. We're here to arrest smugglers.
Wonderful. So he did many voices in Septericor. Yes?
Marty, can I just say
You're going to come up.
that's what Tim Dadabo is like all the time.
All right, this is, if any played Oni. Oni, remember Oni? Tim did several voices in Oni. Here's a quick sampling, and these are all little short lines that I just cut together of different characters.
Wait till I reload. Target is down. Now I strike. You lose.
Now don't make me hurt you. What was that? Ha! I win! Hey, I'm just here to replace the equipment. See? I'm a nice guy. No need for violence. It's over. You lose. No one can defeat me. Cannonball! How'd that butt-kicking feel? Woo, baby!
It was on my demo forever.
All right, and now this is Tim. At one point, we were having Guilty Spark. We were thinking about maybe having Guilty Spark hovering through an operating room in a tent in Halo. So here's Guilty Spark.
The monitor should go through the OR. You know, if I was going to operate, I would probably use a lateral incision. Oh, move out of the way. Are you injured? Do you need assistance? I'd be more than happy to service you. Not in that way.
I know, I get it.
Oh, that looks like it hurts a lot. Catchy melody. I've always liked it. I don't know why. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. It would be a real toe tapper if I had some. You must listen to Marty O'Donnell. He's quite the genius. He the man.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. Tim Dadabo, everybody. All right, now Steve Downs goes back to Septericor also, and he played a major role, a guy named Gunner, but I think he probably even forgot that he played a couple of the more minor roles.
I've wiped it from my memory.
Yes. He was Scum Townie, number 1.
Welcome to Scumtown. This is where most of the stuff the pirates steal from Shelf 5 gets sold. Here, have some of this. Hey, you're chosen, aren't you? Well, how come you don't have any facial tattoos? Hey, look, if you want a tattoo, you know there's a place in town you can get one.
Now, what's interesting about that is that I think he just, in that just set of lines right there, he said more syllables than he said in all the Halo series.
Did he say welcome to Stumptown?
Scumtown.
Oh.
And then I had him also play a character named Wind City Man. No, Wind City Man. Do you remember this? Oh, gee, that's too bad.
Wind City Man. I'm a Wind City Man. New here? Well, welcome to Wind City. We've done much to retrofit our old buildings. Energy from the new power stations to the north is pumped through large cables.
It was a great game.
I suppose that's not in the script, is it? Yeah, I see you have a Bieber in Wind City. Okay. Hey, pal, what are you doing? Hey, buddy, what are you doing? Hey, get your hands off me. Hey, stop it. That'll be enough of that.
Wind City Man. And now here he is as the main character, Gunner.
Lord Gunner of the Chosen. Fate chooses who will lead. Courage chooses who follows. Usually, yes. But now the Holy Chosen Emperor, who rules over all chosen tribes, has sent me to stop the blasphemer Doscius before he does even more damage.
Yes.
Ancient relics that hold the secret of communicating with the core. After we found them, the Emperor chose to wait, holding them until the time of the next conjunction. But Doscius was not willing to hold his ambitions. Yes, please, tell us how you will collapse time and bring the future to the present. Yes. I defeated you once, Doscius. I can do it again.
Yes.
In the name of the Holy Chosen Emperor, I vanquish the heretic Doscius. You're mad!
Thank you, Steve. Okay, now we're up to the Halo days. As you can tell, his gunner voice actually I thought was perfect for Master Chief when we started casting for Master Chief. So I had him do that, and I had to inform him that he had very few syllables in the game, but they were very important. So this is a session, and I'd like you to listen to the lines. We always had Steve do at least each line 3 times. You're going to hear another set of lines that we did many different versions of. It's the final line in Halo 1, and I think you'll recognize which one we chose, and you'll probably see why. And too bad Joe's not here, because all these extra versions of the writing were Joe's writing, but we chose the right one. And then at the end of almost every session we do with these people, we end up having them scream and die and get hurt in horrible ways. So we are going to hear some of Steve doing some screams that maybe didn't quite make the cut. But some of them did make the cut. You'll probably recognize them if you played enough Halo.
Yeah, I'll just do 3 in a row and keep going until you tell me to stop.
Gotcha.
Captain Keyes, Captain Keyes, Captain Keyes.
There you go.
No thanks to your driving, yes. No thanks to your driving, yes. No thanks to your driving, yes. And then moving to
Turning pages of the script.
all this extraneous dialogue till we get to another key plot point. Which that's right. It's just, well, it's like Clint Eastwood. He didn't have a lot of lines either, and
That's right.
for a few dollars more. No, I think we're just getting started. No, I think we're just getting started. No, I think we're just getting started. No, things are just getting
Whoop, I lost sound. What happened?
I think this cable is...
Oops. It's plugged in here.
are just getting started.
He's still getting started.
No, the battle is just getting started. No, the battle is just getting started. No, the battle is just getting started. No, our battle has just begun. No, our battle has just begun. No, our battle has just begun.
No, no.
That's my natural range. Which testicle did you
Whoa.
step on?
Okay,
put your arms back on.
I'm dying in here.
Now, a real quick instant death, but it's sort of loud. Great. Okay, one more thing. This is where you've been, huge grenade, you're flying through the air. So
Like a...
Great. I think we got you. That's perfect,
Beautiful.
man. Thanks, Steve.
My...
Thank you.
Glamorous work, isn't it?
You can see why we wait to the end of the session for them to scream, because after that, their voices are absolutely shredded. So, and now we're going to move on to Pete Stacker down at the end. Say hello to Pete. Pete Stacker, not only is Sergeant Stacker in all the Halo series, but he's also Captain Keyes. But before we get to that, we go back the furthest. Anybody who played the Myth series in the room? Myth, The Fallen Lords, Myth, Soulblighter. So as you know, there was a gameplay announcer who said things like, casualties and game over, 5 minutes remaining. So the very first time we had, no, this is for Myth.
Oh.
Jen, there's another game. We had Pete come in and read for the gameplay announcer, and first thing I did, and one of the rules we have when Pete comes in is that we record from the very moment he walks in the booth, because we don't know what's going to exactly happen. So this is Pete just reading...
Coffee. Coffee's the issue.
This is Pete reading through the list of words, giving us some various ways of reading some of these things, and also improvising a little bit.
Game over. Okay, man. 5 minutes remaining. Victory is imminent. That means it's coming soon. Casualty. Give me one ping. Just one. Ain't got the flag, do you? Flag's lost. Told y'all. Your balls captured. Both of them. Your unit is detached. Damn, that's pretty cold. Point scored, point lost. Game on. Alliance formed, alliance broken. That's life. Game ending. Victory is imminent. Casualties. Player eliminated. Team eliminated. Flag captured, flag contested. Okay, I'm done with this. Someone stolen my car.
No one knew how fierce he was.
Ooh, I think I hurt my knee. Okay, maybe not. Here we go. And all the miles are free.
Take one.
5 minutes remaining.
Take one. That was take one at this. So the voice who said take one is my amazing partner back in Chicago, Mike Salvatore. So let's have a little round of applause for Mike Salvatore, everybody. So Pete was the evil Daskius in Septericor. So here's a little sample of him being the evil Daskius, which Gunnar was trying to vanquish and who hated Emperor Aspertine at the end of the table here.
Nothing stands in my way now except the Emperor, but he will not stand for long. And now, past meets present. To create future, I will have the gift.
The time is short, since I will obtain the gift of the Creator along with a receipt in case I want to return it.
He is a dangerous man. Yeah, I know. He is a dangerous man. The Skies. He is a dangerous man. Gunners up the creek.
And then he was also in Oni, and he played, oh my gosh, who was the police chief's name? What's his name?
Hafferty or something?
Oh, come on, some Oni fan. Who's the chief?
He was the man with no hair.
What's his name? Oh, Griffin.
Griffin. Yes,
Griffin? Oh, whatever. Here he is.
Give me another reading. You aren't really in a position to criticize. The syndicate is using the warehouse to shuttle contraband. Chung went underground to gather evidence. He failed to report in this morning. Find him and get me what I need to shut the place down, or shut it down yourself.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Agent Thorson, and this is... What the...
Agent
We're
Thorson.
all doomed.
So he actually played multiple roles in Oni, and I completely forgot that. All right, now, Sergeant Stacker, we're all aware of him. Sergeant Stacker is one of our favorite sergeants. We had Pete put a little different voice spin on the character, and he did a lot of improvising. And so here's some of his... As a matter of fact, the I Would Have Been Your Daddy skull was named because Pete improvised, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? And then he went, I would have been your daddy, but that dog beat me over the fence. Now, Pete, as long as you're here, could you just do that line for us live? I think it'd be great.
I'd have been your daddy, but your dog beat me over the fence. I was actually born in 8th grade in Chicago. And the young man who said it, I killed him.
All right, so here's some Pete Stacker doing Sergeant Stacker.
Belay that, Marine! What is this? Belay that? I'm not doing it.
Now, I'm just going to interrupt Pete here for a minute, very short. This is also not Pete just improvising, but also commenting on the way we write scripts. So,
Belay that, Marine! Stop, cease and desist!
Okay, promise it won't be in the game.
Belay that, Marine. I'm not doing it. That's it. I'll shoot the next one who does that line. Cortana, can you hear me in there? I didn't figure out the crossword yet. You can't go. 6 across. What's a 7-letter word? Take down the Britru with a hammer. The Britu. Take down the Britu with a hammer. Every time it's misspelled, I have to do it. That's my rule. Look at that. Prinoners. No prenoners? No prenoners. Take no prenoners. You know what? They got so many prenoners in there, I don't want to go in there. New from HP. Prenoners. Somebody counter-snipe that guy. Did somebody really write that? You are surprised by an enemy that sneaks up on you. That works. I would be surprised by an enemy that snuck up on me. We'll be back with more of Masters of the Obvious, Writers of Halo in just a moment. Wraith! From SCG.
Sorry, I had to stop for a second.
I'm glad my mom's
Johnson,
not here.
a family company.
Wait, sorry, here we go.
Wraith!
Oh, wait, you got to hear that. Wait, let me just back up just a little bit. Backing up. Come on, buddy. All right, forget it.
That's pretty funny. Okay. It is Corman. You don't pronounce the S. Yeah, I mean, it's not very good for a guy delivering first aid to be called a corpseman. Like, if I'm laying there with a bullet in me, I don't want somebody who's called a corpseman working on me. Call a corpseman! No, you don't! Just a second, I'm killing this guy over here. I'll be right there. Okay, we got one dead over here, another dead over here.
Okay, this is the final clip. As you all know, the very end of Reach was, we got to see Captain Keyes one more time. Even he turned into a giant flood blob in Halo 1, but we saw Captain Keyes get the package and sail off to Halo at the end of Reach. It was a very emotional scene, and I was giving some direction to Pete so he understood exactly the gravity of this particular moment, seeing all the planet being glassed beneath him. So this is Pete doing that scene. And we probably should have used it this way. I think it might have been working well, but here we go.
And by the way, you're realizing that when you get away, all the Spartans who are on the planet are dead, all the people who you couldn't get off the planet are dead, and this planet is being blasted into oblivion.
Oh, great. Okay. This is the Pillar of Autumn. We're away. And the package is with us. So long! Front row! I'll take 2 beers! And a corn dog! Give me a corn dog! Look at that planet go. You can't be serious now.
Yeah, great, thanks.
2 corn dogs, and draw 2. Bud Lights, of course. Yes, 2 Bud Lights. Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius. Without you, there would be no game and no play, and kids would be in the basement in the dark by themselves, or be forced to actually communicate with each other. Okay, I'm done.
Yes, okay, he's done. Thank you very much. That's all I have. And stay tuned for Daisy being sung by Jen Taylor online.
I think all I did was swear. All I did was swear during that. Sorry.
Right. I don't know what the plan is now, but I'm done.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce the other 2 gentlemen joining us here on the panel. Mr. Kevin Grace, franchise manager at 343 Industries. And down at the end is Mr. Frank O'Connor, franchise development director at 343. So one of the things I wanted to ask, actually specifically started off asking Kevin and Frank, this year we're celebrating the 10th year of Halo, releasing Halo Anniversary, and we're getting a chance to revisit some of the characters from the first Halo game, and we're doing that through a series of terminals that we're adding to the game, and I was wondering if Kevin and Frank, you gentlemen, could kind of talk about it, and maybe we'll share something with the audience here in a little bit.
So first off, I'd like to say thanks to everyone joining us on this panel. As it was intimated at the start of this, it's pretty incredible to have every one of these people here, and still blowing my mind that Jan and Steve hadn't met. and Cortana and Chief always separated by flesh and hologram, and also, United Flight 312 to Chicago. So I just think this is an incredible, cool, weird little bit of symmetry for us to celebrate 10 years of an amazing game, an amazing universe, amazing actors, amazing musicians, and an amazing community. So thanks to everyone on the panel and sitting in the audience. And now Kevin, there's all these amazing voice actors here, and I feel like I have a beautiful voice too, but I'm going to pass it off to Kevin, who actually wrote the script for most of the terminals to talk about what they are and a little bit about the story they tell.
So I hate even approaching a microphone surrounded by these people, and still my head's mostly exploding. That kind of my heroes from 10 years ago are all sitting around here. But as Frank said, we're for the re-release of Halo Combat Evolved, we decided to continue in the tradition of the terminals that started in Halo 3. Cool little opportunities to get a glimpse into the rest of the universe around the games, and for Combat Evolved Anniversary, kind of like everything else that we're putting a 2011 bit of polish on it. We thought that for the terminals we could do something with a little more kind of animation and actually have a chance to bring back some of the familiar voices. I mean, the terminals in Anniversary are really, it's the story of Guilty Spark. And so I have been very honored to spend a lot of time lately with the gentleman sitting immediately to my right in particular. And later on there might be some other surprises on that. But we showed the first terminal at the anniversary panel this morning, which is the terminal where he basically finds all these people, humans in Covenant, showed up in his backyard and tries to figure out what the heck's going on. But we're going to go ahead and play the second terminal as well. This is the terminal you'll find in the second level of the game. And it's just a little bit, again, for the new fans, how did Spark get here? How did this Halo get here? And for the old fans, we get to see him getting set up in his new home. So.
I am experiencing such a mixture of anticipation and dread. All preparations are complete for my installation. In accordance with the final dictum of the Ecumene Council, I have released myself of all remaining connections to my former station. This was not difficult. What was could never be again. We had seen to that quite thoroughly. Prior to my final journey through the Great Portal, a gathering of my fellow monitors was convened upon the Lightworkers Crash to distribute the final index collection. It was most unusual to have this vessel of rebirth play host to such an event, even though Lightworker ships were the only ones still allowed slipspace permissions. Lightworkers were responsible for getting us to our places on the active facilities of the array. While all of this was in accordance with the plan, one entirely unsatisfactory breakdown remained. We had no contact with the domain. The history of all Forerunners was now lost to us. We relied upon the permanence of the domain to preserve our record of the events that led to this point. But without that record, would future civilizations know anything about us? Or only of our weapons? My fellow monitor, 049 Abject Testament, had only one comment on this before we went our separate ways.
We deserve to be forgotten.
Perhaps. Perhaps. But now, the portal opens, and through it, the familiar shape awaits. Halo. Home.
So that particular clip takes us back to, of course, the Halo installation 04, which is where these fine people met and went to war on the ring in the original Halo game. I kind of want to start off with Steve, actually, a question for you. When you were approaching the character of the Master Chief, when you and Marty were working on that, I'm curious whether the original way you envisioned him changed over the course of developing that character.
Well, the original, when Marty first approached me, there was nothing to look at. I didn't know what he looked like, and my recollection of the conversation was that Marty described the Master Chief, and he was a man of few words. He was Clint Eastwood came to mind, and I believe that was your suggestion. He said, think of Clint Eastwood, circa for a few dollars more, and maybe a little Dirty Harry in there as well. And so that's sort of where I started with him. And it's funny now that going back and listening to some of the parts in the first game, there's always that temptation. Wow, I'd really like to do it over, knowing what I know now. But I think that's sort of the way it started. He was, you have to. The funny thing about voiceover is, at least in my opinion, is sometimes the less words you have to say, the more difficult it can be. At least it is for me, because you have to make those words count. And there's not a lot of, not like in real life when you can sort of explain yourself. What I meant to say was, well, he doesn't get that opportunity. So that's sort of how I approached it in the beginning, and it just, I think the evolution was natural, into 2 and 3.
I think we started even giving you less syllables. It was cooler to have you just say, "I won't."
Yeah.
And so you would say it, and you would try to give us a bunch of ways, and I'd say, less, perfect.
Right. Yeah.
Do that for us right now, would you?
Yeah. I won't. No, really, I won't.
So dealing with the story in Halo, it's science fiction. So when you're approaching as an actor, everyone brings their own experiences to it. You have varying familiarity with kind of tropes of a science fiction storyline. I had a question for Jen, playing the role of Cortana in the original Halo game. Being an artificial intelligence, but it's also completely human in some ways. Was that difficult for you as an actor to approach that? And what were some of the challenges?
No, because it wasn't, at the time, it wasn't a big deal. It was a gig like any other gig I was doing. So I wasn't terribly scared of it. And a lot of the direction I got was, you're like the girl next door, like the best, we don't want you to be too naggy. And I saw online that Cortana was labeled as the naggy one. I was very upset by that recently. But that was most of the direction that I remember getting. And what they told me in the beginning, well, first you guys were going to make her vaguely European.
Yeah, you should do some of that.
No. Vaguely European was what they wanted. And then one of the main things they said to me was, forget about the fact that she's a computer. We don't want you to think that way, because you're going to get into some weird robotic voice, and that's not what we want. So we stepped away from that very quickly, as I recall. Yes. Back me up here, Marty.
No, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Did I answer your question, or did I talk around?
We also asked her to. We just liked her natural voice. We were like, just be yourself. So Cortana is pretty much Jen Taylor, I think.
No.
But she says cool things like, "Bet you can't stick it," which I think was great. And then Master Chief says, what does he say? You're on. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Why'd you do that? Bet you can't stick it. You're on. Here we go.
We're monkeys, aren't we? Bet you can't stick it.
Oh, you're on.
Next question I have is for Pete down at the end, Mr. Stacker. You, in essence, sort of speak the first line in any Halo game that was released. And I'm curious, 10 years later, what is the kind of the franchise and your experience with it over the course of that decade? What has that kind of meant to you both personally and professionally?
Well, I just think being part of something that is actually the part of the crust of America. I mean, I know it sounds like really cliche-ish or whatever, but it really, over 10 years, to see the amount of people and the folks who are playing it, that's what's really kind of really cool. People from all over the world, man, in different languages, and everybody playing the game. To be part of that is really unique. And I've been part of a lot of cool things. I've been a very lucky guy. But this is especially cool because these are, beyond anything else, these are my friends. So for us to get to be able to play with you is especially cool. And the pictures and the art and the amount of work that goes into this by everyone involved, everybody's going to the extra level because we're into it. And the final, when everything is all brought together, makes it about the coolest damn thing I've ever been part of. So there you go. And I know that didn't answer your question.
That's way better than my question, so I think you upgraded it. My next question is for Tim, actually. Recently you've been able to come back and breathe new life into the character of 343 Guilty Spark. Some would say he's a genocidal maniac, he kills people, and he enjoys it. Some would say he's just out crazy. How would you describe the character of 343 Guilty Spark?
Well, as one of the most hated AIs in the galaxy, I am completely honored.
He does that at home. This is such an honor, you guys, just to see this community that Halo has become, for us to be able to do this gig and to have it, the reaction from you guys. If there wasn't a you guys, there wouldn't be an us, really. That's what it's all about. I'm so glad and so blessed to see you guys out there, and to be this character all these years has been very, very humbling to me personally. So thank you to you instead, okay?
I'd like to add that during this period of time, I think Tim has done other work, including, I believe he did Leisure Suit Larry, the redo.
All right, how many of you bastards lost your virginity to that game?
So we all bring our own experiences to these titles when we played it. I remember the first time I played, not that game. I remember the first time I played the original Halo, and it's meant a great deal to me, and I'm very blessed to be in the position I am now. I'm wondering if, Frank, if you can talk a little bit, and you've talked a little bit earlier this weekend, of kind of your experiences playing the first Halo and when you were first introduced to these characters and how that made you feel.
I've already told this story at panel today, so apologies to the people who were there at that one. But my first ever experience playing Halo, I mean, I've been reading about it and watching videos, weirdly, of Steve Jobs introducing it in 1999, I think, or 98. And it's weird to come that far and such a weird bit of symmetry. But on a more up note, I played multiplayer for the first time ever at a press event in New York in a hotel. And we're playing Beaver Creek, or Battle Canyon, or Battle Creek, or whatever. I've completely lost count of the names we have for it by now. But I ran up to the ladder. I kind of had it. I had the left stick totally under control. I got to the bottom of the ladder and realized the conventional default setting is incorrect, and inverted is correct. And so, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can boo. You can boo, you weirdos.
You're gonna start a riot, brother.
So Frank, if you're
but what I'm
inverted,
going to
would that be
do,
a thumbs up?
my main career move from this point onward is to have the UI say correct instead of inverted. So it'll say default, and then it will say more, better, or correct for inverted. And that was literally my first experience, and one of the most literally defining ones. So.
Well, I think we're going to open it up to some questions from the audience. We have microphones on the right and left, so if you can just make your way calmly and orderly, we'll alternate between right and left. All right, I think we'll go ahead and start on the right.
All those who are now in line, I would like you to follow the uniformed man out the building. No, I'm kidding.
My question is for Marty. First off, I just wanted to say I think Reach's soundtrack was incredible.
Thank you.
I don't think it gets enough credit.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you if you enjoyed creating music that was more in a somber setting more than the past Halo games, or if at least you enjoyed it in a different way, being able to create a more dramatic backdrop for the game.
Yeah. You know, each one of the Halo games had sort of a unique feeling for me, and I really love working with the guys who were designing the game and telling the story. And I loved the fact that on both ODST and Reach, I could start to branch out from some of the themes that I was doing with Halo 1, 2, and 3, because they were all part of this trilogy. So yeah, I really enjoyed both those games, just from being able to approach the music with a different approach. The film noir sort of approach for ODST, and a little bit more gravitas, I think, is something I've talked about for Reach, because it was a story that we knew was like the Titanic. It was a tragedy, and everybody was going to die. We definitely should have used Pete's lines at the end, though. I think that would have lightened the mood a little bit, but might have wrecked the music at the end. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Sorry. Two questions, one silly, one serious. I would pay money to have some of you guys and gals do a GPS voice, like Stacker or Master Chief. I mean, milk that dry, please.
I said exit left. What the hell does that mean to anybody else on this planet but exit left? You are off the grid, moron.
And then, more seriously, by Reach, Jen and Steve, when did you figure out that this trilogy, this whole storyline turned into a love story, kind of? I mean, that's kind of interesting how at first, how there was real emotion there between the two of you. I mean, obviously you haven't met, but I guess in reading those lines, or in Marty coaching you, or I don't know, I mean, it got really.
We moved you, didn't we?
Yes.
We touched you.
Yes.
I'm glad. When did you realize?
Well, what somebody said to me the other day, which I had never, because yes, I agree. I think as the story continued, there was obviously their relationship. There was something going on. But somebody suggested to me the other day, which I thought was interesting, is that they saw it as a sibling relationship, which I had never really considered before. But
creepy.
Yeah. Okay, awkward.
She is inside you, so.
Yeah, put that vision back up of her, will you? Can you put that back up of her, what she looks like now?
Okay, maybe you have a point. Never mind about the sibling thing.
I just want to say thank you for all your hard work and dedication towards Halo. It's, obviously had a big impact on us, and I think we all appreciate it. And I just want to hear more of your voices. Maybe Jen Taylor can sing for us.
You're mean. I am not a singer. I don't know if you guys know this story. Go ahead. You're so mean. Marty's so pleased. They made me sing a song. What was the song?
It was Daisy.
Daisy. And it's in the game, isn't it?
No, we couldn't use it.
Didn't get the rights.
My head's gonna explode. I think, Jay, how long? I probably sang that song for an hour. And there was there were like one or two notes that for some reason I just could not get. And so, excuse me, but most of the time, most of the takes were me singing, then going. So that's the jokes that they are making. But Marty, you did say I had a fine voice.
You do have your wonderful voice. You're good.
I have a fine voice.
Yes, she does.
I sang to you. Allison. See, it's okay.
My question's for Marty. I was wondering if you could talk over here. Hey, Marty. A little bit about the evolution of music in Halo all the way from the beginning to the end, and even more importantly, what you know about the future of music in Halo.
Wow, I know nothing about the future of music in Halo, but I do know about the future of music at Bungie. So I'm here today to reveal what the story of our next game that we're doing is, and it's like...
Really? Awesome, you guys are gonna love that.
It's a new spin on Angry Birds.
Yes. No, actually, the next Bungie game, we're not even starting with a game. It's going to be a Broadway musical. I'm announcing it here today. Yeah, okay. And then we'll see if a game comes out of that.
Singing the lead.
And Jen is singing the lead. It's going to be wonderful.
Jen has a huge singing part in it.
So this is for all the voice actors. After hearing your outtakes, how's it feel to realize that you went from all of that to these serious characters in Halo?
Serious?
I don't think I heard your can you restate your question?
How's it feel to listen to the outtakes?
Embarrassing.
Funny as hell. It's funny.
It wasn't me. That wasn't me.
I don't
You have
think
to understand,
anybody
we are
likes-
paid multiple personalities.
Hi, I'm Cleveland.
Yeah, right.
I don't think anybody likes to listen to their voice, do they? I mean, even voice actors don't like to listen to their voice. At least that's my experience.
I don't think that's true. I know Pete loves listening to his voice. I'm positive of that.
I'm kind of enthralled that you're the Real Men of Genius guy. I love those commercials.
That's actually a really good transition. We're kind of running out of time, so unfortunately we don't have time for any more questions. But kind of in the same vein of what Jim was just mentioning, Pete Stacker was the voice of the Real Man of Genius campaign from several years ago. We've kind of worked on something that we're going to introduce to you, and Pete and Tim are going to participate in this, and so I'm just going to hand it over to them, and they'll bring us home.
Once upon a time, they asked us to maybe do a little something, and this is a little out of character, so we whipped some stuff together with the help of everybody upstairs. We don't have the music only because there's a little contractual thing there, but we decided that because what you don't know about him is that he's also and has been a really great rock and roll singer in front of a band, etc., and he can really wail. So he's going to step in the role of David Bickler, and so here we are. This is for Halo from the Real Men of Genius.
This is for you guys.
Ready? Halo Fest presents Real Men of Halo.
Real Man of Halo!
Today we salute you, Mr. Terrible Warthog Driver.
Mr. Terrible Warthog Driver!
While other players are content to run straight across the battlefield, you say no. Why bother with two genetically modified legs when you can careen your way to a screaming death?
I'll catch a cab!
You might not know your drive shaft from a spark plug, but you've turned flipping your 2-ton steel-plated assassin into a modern art form.
Who needs insurance?
So crack open your next match, O Prince of the Pit Lane. We know whenever a teammate is waiting on his battle bro to carry him to victory, you'll be there to drive him right off a cliff.
Mr. Terrible Warthog Driver!
Halo Fest 343 Industries, Kirkland, Washington.
Thank you very much, guys.
Can I add one other thing? Hello? Did I do it? Yeah, can I add one other quick thing? There's a real story all the way back to the front, and I may be wrong, Marty, but you were in a building and the building burned down. And this was at the start of Halo, as I recall, all the way up the front. And there was ice and everything hanging from the side. It was in a January, and after the firefighters left, etc., he crawled back into the building and up onto like the second floor and chipped out some of the hard drives and brought them back down. And I believe that is music from the very first Halo, which is pretty cool. And no one knows that, but that's a very daring dude.
And one of the coolest things, too, was that when that all happened, the doors of other studios in Chicago were so empathetic and so sympathetic to what happened. Studios in Chicago said, "Come on over and do your game here." And I don't know, I don't think they even charged you for that.
They didn't charge me anything. Yeah, it was great.
So that was really, really cool, and that's how it all got started.
Hey, Chicago.
Thanks, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up for this panel. We'll be outside and around, so they do ask us to clear out as quickly as possible, but safely as possible, so they can get the next panel in.
Thank you.